Hey everybody, it's David Nagel. Welcome to another episode of What's the Truth. Today my guest is Rhonda Bowen. She's in Germany. Hi Rhonda, how are you?
Hi, David. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How can we help you today? What's going on?
Well, I'm a person who's been in business for almost 35 years now, and 32 of them on my own. And a couple of years ago, I decided to make the big jump from offline to online. And being an analog native and somebody who had very perfectionistic tendencies, making this jump has been much, much bigger than I would have ever thought possible. And I've worked with people from 70 different countries around the world, and I know whether to shake hands with people or kiss them on the cheek or whatever's appropriate, but doing things online is totally different for me.
Mhm.
And I'm struggling with making sure that the things that I've learned over the last 30 odd years really come across online, number one, and that I find the right people to work with. Because I think I have so much more to give now, and there are so many more people I could actually be in contact with and make impacts on. But it's really hard for me to find the right people and make sure that I know I'm giving them what they need.
Okay. And what is your approach to reaching people online currently?
My biggest thing is LinkedIn. I'm working very hard. I have a member of my team who's also helping me do everything on LinkedIn. We've started a group. We're doing a lot of outreach there. We're finding very, very good people as well, but it's because, as I said, we don't sit in the same room or have a coffee or whatever. It's harder for me to actually figure out what they need. And because I work internationally, it's not the same as in a lot of countries where you just pick up the phone and call somebody down the street. It's
Hmm.
time zones and, all those things that go with that. You're familiar with that as well. That makes it a little more difficult to actually figure out how to get the right people together and to make sure that what I'm providing them is what they really need.
Okay. So, I mean, I would assume, maybe I'm assuming incorrectly, but you've done market research before?
I'm not a big research person, but I have somebody on my team. As I said, the guy who's doing my LinkedIn things, he's doing some of that research for me. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know the ideal client that you're looking for, but you just don't know what they need or how to help them?
Yeah, my ideal clients are what I call best professionals, people in business, engineering, science, and technology. And those are the people I've been working with offline, as I said, for over 30 years now. And I fill all the gaps that they can't fill themselves. So I'm the emotional one. They're the very left brain, data driven, whatever. And I'm a communication guide. So I help people learn to negotiate and have better meetings and work better with teams. And of course, it's often for those people who are very, very fixed on numbers or data. It's sometimes hard for them to realize that the emotional part is also important. And that for me is something that's very hard to get across online because those people are all looking in their spreadsheets and playing with their computers and whatever. And it's the other thing they need. And once they realize they need it, it's very obvious to them and they work very hard on it. And I've had wonderful experiences with clients, but as I said, getting that across online has been very difficult for me.
Can you identify the problems ahead of time that they would be experiencing based on perhaps their communication style
Oh yeah,
issues? Yeah.
the classic things are always, Rhonda, there are too many meetings. People don't understand what I'm saying. I wrote to somebody in China 5 times and he still doesn't understand what I want. It's too much time. It's too much effort. We're wasting time and not getting things done. And once they realize where they need to work on this, it becomes much easier and they find out they're much more efficient and they're saving a lot of time because many of them are very, very busy, but also have families or whatever. They have more time for their families. So once they get to that point, they realize what a benefit it is to them to really think more about their communication. But for a person who's always looking at sales or always looking at writing the best dossier, that of course isn't the thing that's top of mind for them.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So there's something that I call an educate to the sell that is probably very fitting for what you
Mhm.
do. They know that there's a problem. They don't necessarily link that problem up with, or the cause of the problem with the problem that they're actually having. They may think that it's related to something else, which means that if you approach your marketing from an educational perspective,
Mhm.
perhaps writing articles, doing blog posts, putting out video is very powerful right now, and consistently speaking to here are specific problems that I'm running across with best professionals
Mhm.
that seem to be common wherever I go. and really listing out what those problems look like, and then directing them kind of in a way where they can understand from a cause and effect perspective, here's what the causes of these problems are.
Mhm.
And the result of not fixing these or understanding this can lead to ABC as a consequence.
Okay.
And then constantly marketing that to them so that they're seeing it, with a way for it to lead to some kind of evaluation process, whether that would be like a fill in the blank, they send in some kind of evaluation, or you get on the phone and talk to them. That would be a direct to sale concept that works very, very well in many different industries that have an education to sell process.
Mhm.
Have you
Because what
done have you done that online yet? Any of that?
what I do, I don't make videos and things at the moment, although everybody's telling me that I should. I'm really a facilitation person. I did training I could be a teacher if I were back in Pennsylvania where I came from and whatever, but I've really over the years seen that my forte is facilitation, and I do much better sitting down in a room where people are all discussing whatever the topic is, and I'm the one who's guiding them, which is why I don't use the word coach and trainer and consultant and all those things that I actually do
Mhm.
also.
Right.
But I say I'm a guide because people are at A and they want to get to B, and I just say I help you get there, and I do whatever it takes to get you along that, and people need very, very different things. But the interesting thing, of course, is to get the right people in a group so they can experience a facilitation. I mean, the education part would obviously make sense, but then I have to also make sure I can find the right people who would be able to sit down together in a room and all benefit not only from what I have to say, because I don't think I'm the most important person in the room. They're the most important people in the room, and they often learn much more from each other. And I just throw in the little bits that they need along on the way. That's
Yeah.
the way I
Excuse
prefer
me. Is
working
that
with people.
the people that all work in one company you're talking about?
They can be, but they don't have to be. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have you found that? So if they weren't from one company, what would be? How would you explain to them that you were bringing multiple people with the same kind of issue in a room? Is that like a seminar format type of an idea?
I prefer mastermind formats, and
Mastermind.
I do for big coaching organizations in the world. I do roundtables and implementation mastery sessions and those kinds of things. And I have one of the best ratings of any of the facilitators in the organization. So I know that the service that I'm providing, even to my peers who are all coaches, I know that I'm doing the right thing with them, but I don't have to choose any of them. They're sent to me. People sign up to be in group X and I'm facilitating group X, and that works very well. But going out and actually finding people who don't know me yet and aren't being given to me per se, that's a whole other ball of wax.
One of the things that, especially in today's day and age, that's really proving to be very true. Some people have believed this for a long period of time, and others were completely against it. And it putting your best information forward for people to be able to reach in an easy way, generally free of charge,
Mm-hmm.
but in a way where you can capture their name and their attention and really have them following you, is a great way to build a relationship with them, to then move them into a situation, whether it's either a company or you have people, multiple people coming into a
Yeah.
mastermind format type idea. And you can do that. Well, one of the ways that I do it is through a podcast
Mm-hmm.
that covers various different topics. I also do it through a consistent video that we're putting out all the time. Now, we do all the major platforms, but LinkedIn is a very strong platform for what it is that you're actually looking for. So it makes a lot of sense to be putting a ton of information in that space and then maybe directing them to other pieces of information that you're doing. But the whole idea is creating this synergy that moves people through cohesive information that you have to put out, and then where can they go to consistently get that information from you. So then you're capturing their name, their information, what they're interested in, what problems are they having, and you're able to market to them on a consistent basis. So you get the cream off the top, if you will, the people that have the most sense of urgency to actually change those problems right now, where you can sell them and move them into your process. And then over a period of time, you get others that actually come in, and through the whole time, you're building a list, a great following of intellectuals, as you say, that really feel that somebody understands the issues that they're actually dealing with. I don't really know of anybody that is like, I'm sure there is somewhere, but completely nailing it the way that you're describing it out there in that way. But for sure, there are definitely, one of the things about the intellectuals of the world is that there are so many different intellectual podcasts that are out there that really appeal to that group of people. Where they really go and they really get their mind fed in various different ways. So another thing that you could do is to seek out those podcasts that speak to that group of people and ask to be a guest on there, to be interviewed. And then you get exposed to their whole audience because they're building an audience and you get exposed to that audience all at one time. I do interviews every week. Just about every week I do interviews with somebody. So it's a cross-pollination of different lists and followings of people that people have built, and everybody benefits from it.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Is there anything, so here's the big question, is there anything that would stop you from doing any of those things?
Not that I can imagine, because as I said, I've had my own business now for 32 years. It's just making this switch. And I'm in a program with you now, which is really helping me a lot. And things have been opening up and I've been in contact with new people, which has been a real help. I'm a person who is a group think person, not in the sense of I can't do anything on my own, but I prefer developing things together with other people. And I'm now working with a gentleman in Canada and with two other colleagues here in Germany, who one is Irish and one is French. And we are setting up new things. And I have a feeling that not having to do everything on my own and bringing in my strength, especially in a group of three, we all have very different strengths, and but we all have the same values. And I think that's a very important thing. And being able to develop things together with other people seems to be the way that I am much more successful than trying to go out and do it on my own. So that's another thing I'm trying to work on more, is finding the right partners to be able to set up projects together and not just me being out there on the fly, because as I said, I'm not the person to be in the center of the stage, and I can do that and I do it, but I know I do better work when I'm in the group.
Yeah, and the other thing is the strengths of other people when it comes to marketing and video and media and those things is there's so much to learn to do those things yourself that it literally becomes more than a full-time job just trying to learn it. It was one of the reasons when, as my company began to grow, I realized that I'm just going to start my own media company, and that media company is going to actually provide those services to my parent company, and then we'll outsource other material based in the media company itself. But now that we've done that, we have the professionals that are able to move us out in the way that we want, and we don't have to be focused on trying to figure out all the testing and split testing and where it's working and where it's not. We just need to do the things that we're good at, and the media company handles the things that they're good at. And of course, it raises the level of both businesses simultaneously. So whether the best thing is source the best people that you possibly can to help you in the direction of video and social media and all those things, so that you can get it up and running relatively quick, because you can do it. You can do a lot with a little if you have the right people.
Okay. Very good.
Does that sound good?
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Very good. Pleasure. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's been very, very, both entertaining and educational, as it should be. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon.